So starting off, we're going to do a little tiny bit of a warm up, starting off with some squatting and hip hinging. So for squatting, if you aren't already familiar with what good form might be, you want to have your feet at least shoulder width apart. And if you have limited ankle mobility, you might even want them a little bit wider. And then your toes should be angled either straight forward or slightly wider than straight forward. And when you bend your knees, as you sort of sit into that squat, you want your knees to be projecting over second and third toe. So really out over the middle of the foot. If my hand is a foot right now, I'm going straight out over the middle here. I know it's kind of hard to see. I'm also keeping my core engaged, so drawing everything in and up. All my organs are drawn in here and sort of aimed up, and pause at the bottom, draw everything in and up again, come up, reset, draw everything in and up as far as core stability maintenance, up and down, checking in and taking a moment to adjust the angle that your feet are at. If at the bottom of the squat, you notice your knees are not aimed out over second and third toe, adjust that. You can adjust how wide your feet, how wide your feet are, the angle of your feet, so that this matches your body composition, matches your flexibility. We have different length femurs, we have different lifestyles, and that all contributes to the best possible form for your body. So let's just all do one last squat here, and then we'll shift over to hip hinging. Now I'm going to show this one from the side. So what I want to do is I want to sort of take my body, one straight line, whatever my neutral spine position is for me. I'm, of course, engaging through my core here, and then nothing else changes but the angle through my hips as I literally hinge. Let me show you this way. Hinge forward. So the curve in my back stays virtually the same. And then like come back up.
Stop stretch.
Oh, somebody is not muted. And hinging and up. So if you don't feel like you have the core stability, this bothers your back, you could also rest your hands on your thighs and support yourself going down and up, back and forth here. You can pause at the bottom, engage your core in a little bit tighter, come back up, reset, back and forth. Now, just for fun and to keep us warming up, we're going to alternate between the squat and the hip hinge. So choose the foot placement that's right for you. If your toes need to be pointed out a little bit, it doesn't affect the hip hinge. Go ahead and squat, and then tip forward, pushing your hips back, and squat. So the prime movers, when I'm doing a hip hinge, are down the back of my body. My glutes and my hamstrings there are really supporting my body. Of course, the core has a role in engagement and stability, and there are lots and lots of other muscles that are synergists for this also. And then as we're squatting, glutes are a prime mover, as well as quads. So we are taking a moment to take care of both the front and the back of our leg here as we do this. So one last squat, one last hip hinge. Beautiful. And now we're going to go into a wide leg forward fold. So bring your legs a little bit wider, whatever wide level of width feels comfortable for your body. And again, we're sort of just tipping the top of the pelvis forward, coming straight forward into a hip hinge, trying to get a nice stretch through the back of your legs. If you want to use your thighs to support you, or a desk or stool, yoga blocks, a laundry basket, whatever works for your body and is the right height for you could be really nice. Now I say we're tipping the top of the pelvis forward because when I do that, it pushes the stretch into the back of my legs rather than into my lower back. You can hang out here and allow yourself to sink in a little bit deeper as it feels good. Take a moment to check in with your breathing, maybe even counting for a 4 count on the inhale and a 4 count on the exhale. checking in with yourself, noticing where this feels good. And then if it feels like it would be nice, go ahead and round through your lower back, reaching as low as you can here, just enjoying that drop towards the floor. If you would like to, you can hold onto the back of your legs, help yourself into the stretch a little bit more, but don't feel like you have to push it. With stretching, we don't have to go for a more is better mentality. You can relax into it and get lots and lots of benefit. Whenever you're ready, come on out. And for variation, we're going to do a forward fold that has crossed legs. So I'm crossing my right leg in front of my left. And now again, I'm just going to start off by tipping the top of my pelvis forward, relaxing into that stretch, noticing where it feels good, where it feels tight, where it feels exciting, and allowing myself to sink in slowly in towards that stretch. And I'm going slowly so that I don't go too far, too fast, hurting myself. If I want to, I can bend that front knee to really lean into that left back hip, the hip of the leg that's behind. Is what I mean there. Of course, I'm taking time to breathe deeply as I go into this. Excellent. And whenever you're ready, come on out and we'll switch sides. So now I'm taking my left leg, bringing it across my right, and tipping the top of the pelvis, coming into this stretch, supporting myself so that I can feel comfortable and safe as I relax into it. We're breathing deeply here. If it feels good to bend that front leg and lean into that right hip, get that stretch. I know when I do that, I could feel that stretch from all the way down by my calf, all the way up by my hip. It actually feels glorious. Take one last really deep breath here. And go ahead and come on out. We're going to take care of our calves right now because we don't often think about our calves in this 15 minutes. So for my calves, I'm going to bring my right leg forward to start off with. And then I'm going to tip forward, again, tipping the top of the pelvis. I'm bending through my left leg a little bit. And then I've actually, instead of keeping my right toes on the ground, I'm lifting them off. So if this stool is the ground, my hand is my foot, I'm lifting my toes off the ground here as I relax into that stretch. I'm really using the muscles all along the shin to lift my toes up as I tip forward. Nice. Let's do the other side. So now my left leg is going forward, my right leg is back, and I'm standing on my right leg. I'm tipping the top of the pelvis forward as I bend through the right knee. And then I take the toes of my left foot and I'm lifting them high off of the ground. Hopefully this stretch feels really good. You're giving your calves a little bit of love. And of course, thinking about all the times that we're using our calves, every single step that you take, they get a lot of playtime. Excellent. So the next thing that we're going to do is a little counter stretch for the calves, a little stretch through the front of the shin. Now you can't see my feet too well where I'm standing right here, so I'm going to show you up on this stool, but essentially I'm taking my foot on the floor, I'm resting the top of my foot on the floor, and then I'm just letting the stretch go all up the front of my foot, the front of my shin bone here. Hopefully you can see this, me doing it on the stool like this. Of course, if it's not comfortable for you to be on one leg and then resting the other leg on the ground like that, hold on to something for balance. Let's switch sides now. I'm taking my right leg, resting the top of my foot or my toes on the ground, and leaning in. So I'm getting a nice stretch all through the front here. I could totally wobble a little bit side to side to get some different angles. Just a little thank you for all of those little tiny muscles that do all different things for us all day long. Beautiful. And come back to a neutral standing position. I'm going to come back to a wide leg stance now as we do a little bit of additional stuff for our hips and our inner thighs. So starting off, we're going to do a little side lunging, bending through my right knee, then my left, back and forth here. As I bend, I'm sort of sitting back into this position. And then whenever you're ready, hang out on one side here. So I'm just getting a nice inner thigh stretch. If that's not a comfortable position for you, you could totally have both legs straight and just drop that right hip. But if it feels good, definitely bend the knee and just sink in, relaxing and enjoying that inner thigh stretch. If you're ready for some variety, let's go ahead and from this position, tip the top of your pelvis forward, tip the top of your pelvis backwards. You can go back and forth, or you can hang out in one position. Back and forth, or hanging out. And then whenever you're ready, if you would like, you can do a little twisting. So by twisting, I mean taking my two hip bones like they're headlights and aiming them over the bent leg, aiming them forward, going back and forth and feeling how that changes the inner thigh stretch just by taking advantage of our angles. If you find some really juicy, wonderful place and you want to hang out there, enjoy that. And then whenever it feels good, come back up to standing and we'll do the other side. So bending the right knee now for me and starting off, just tipping the top of the pelvis forward like it's a cup. We're dumping out some water and tipping the top of the pelvis back. Hanging out there, maybe sinking in a little bit further if you've loosened up as I've been talking away here. And whenever you're ready, taking a little twisting, back and forth. Taking a moment to notice how the other side may have felt different than this side, or if there's a really glorious spot, hanging out there, playing with it, and enjoying that stretch. Excellent. Come back up to center. Step your feet back together. We're going to do just a couple, let me adjust here, just a couple of little breathing exercises as we get ready to end our little stretch session and move on with the rest of the day. So for that, start off by inhaling your arms all the way up, reaching up really nice and tall, and exhaling them down. One more inhale. Inhaling them all the way up and a little bit to the right. And then exhaling back down and coming to center. Last one will be inhaling your arms all the way up and a little bit to the left. Exhaling back down and coming to center. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Take care, everyone.